the last little bit of footage. We're gonna get the SCX10 on the bench and kind of go over where the build's at so far, how the performance is going, things I did right, things I wish I'd done differently, and kind of the build up to now. All right, as far as electronics, I kind of have this pulled up, the cover up pulled up a little bit here so you can see. Right now we're running the Crawlmaster Expert from Holmes Hobbies. It's the 13 turn. It's a 5-slot motor on the, so with the armature and everything set up on it, it's basically made for a lot more torque. So from what I understand, that should be more around like a 35 turn typical brushless, and that's kind of how it performs. It's a little bit slower than the stock one, the 27 turn, but the torque and the low speed control is amazing. And it sounds so nice. And then I went with the Reefs, the 444. It's a tried and true servo. It's waterproof. It does extremely well with this because it wasn't the kit. I started with the RTR. You are going to have to buy the 25 tooth steering servo. It doesn't come with one like it does with the kit. Other than that, I kind of lubricated everything temporarily just to make sure all electronics work. I just added a little adapter to go to X1060, which is kind of my preferred plug. So let's talk about this Firma 40. This thing is awesome. I prefer on my crawlers. I really like brush motor builds for them. I have a lot of brushless with more of my faster stuff or like the drift, something where I need that censored function. But honestly, this Firma 40 behaves almost as well as any of my like censored setups. It's so linear on throttle response. I can't believe it's as inexpensive as it is, and it's waterproof, and it's dirt cheap. Even if you're building up a kit, this is a great thing to go with. I normally go with the Hobbywing 1080, which is good. I mean, it's about the same price. I think it might be a couple dollars more actually, but it doesn't include the receiver in it, which this one does. It does offer, I think it's a 4. Yeah, it offers, 4 channels. Unfortunately with the remote that comes with it, which is pretty great. I'm not going to complain about it. It only has 3 channel controllability, but that's super easy to fix with anything in the Spectrum lineup. The mini servo for dig, it works better than I expected, although it does have a tendency, especially whenever the drivetrain is locked up or it's under some kind of load, to stay locked. So sometimes you almost kind of have to like kick it out of gear while you're doing it, like throttle backwards real quick. So it doesn't work on some of the technical stuff. All right, first up on the build, we'll start at the bottom. So I kept the stock Nidos. I like them. I like the treads. As you can see, they do like to gunk up with mud. It's not the most aggressive profile, but this is going to be a trail truck build. So I didn't want to do anything that's... Sorry, I get some of that nasty stuff. As you can tell, I was out on the trails today. Played in some mud, did some hill climbs and some loose gravel. Once again, for a trail truck, they work great. They're nothing competitive. They don't climb super great. They grip okay on rocks. Sand was okay. Pretty decent in water. Mud, might as well have had slicks on there. Wasn't much going on for it. All right, and then we did the Vanquish KMCs. This blue is sick looking. I didn't do the hubs on the inside. Honestly, I don't care. I'd rather be able to quickly change tires as we're out. Everything went together great. Hardware was fantastic. I did go with the 350 SWL hubs. It gave it what I would consider probably, and we can see more when the body's on, but probably the perfect stance for the vehicle. Other than that, I kept the front bumper. Normally I go with the Vanquish products. They're ones for their VS410. That's what I put in the rear. It's just kind of it's a thicker plastic, and it also slides a little bit better over rocks. Give me a nice little place in order to mount the hook on the bottom. The one on the front, it was ridiculous. It overhung. It didn't fit the body lines very well, but it's a really inexpensive upgrade and something that I'd highly recommend. It's something I ran on my TRX4. Worked great. Suspension wise, we're still sitting stock. I did order the heavy duty springs. As you can see, the preloads in the back are pretty much all the way down. It's just because the body's so heavy, and we'll go over kind of how that's going, and it's just going to get heavier. So I got those coming. Other than that, for the basic layout, I really like the links. The links are great. They do get scratched up a little bit. I might add an aluminum centerpiece right here, just because it seems like it's an area that it really likes to kind of hang up on. Minor scratches on the links. I've only had it out a few times, nothing too crazy. And then the rock lights. So I went with the MytrickRCs. They make a specific SCX10 kit. It comes with everything you need, including all the 3D parts. We'll get into more of that later on the vehicle. As you can see, there was one thing I had to change. So these 3D printed mounts, they work great.
The 3D print quality, as you can see, isn't that great. It's really, really rough print, but for something you don't really see, it doesn't really matter. The issue I had is that it didn't exactly fit. So on the back, because of the way the interior works, it's so shallow in between where the fender liners sit and the actual light itself that it wouldn't allow the body to sit completely flush. I mean, you can push it down, but then it causes the inner wheel wells to kind of flex outwards. So all I did, took it off, shoe glued it in, and then just put a little piece of Gorilla Tape, just kind of protect the wires, because as you can see right here, this is where the body actually still rubs on the interior. So it's that close. I mean, we're talking, what, 4 mils maybe? 3 or 4 mils? And it's already, like, that's how tight the clearance is on the inside. But they are insanely bright. I will add some footage of that running in pitch black. All right.